we are all after this one bandwagon, which is data science and machine learning. Please, I would like this session to be very, very interactive, please. I'll be throwing questions sometimes and then we all get to answer. I would like, because I feel when something is very, very interactive, it will even stick far more than me just dropping everything myself. All right. So we all know companies like Facebook, Google, Microsoft, they are all after this one bandwagon, which is data science and machine learning. And this is just because data science and why, let's just say it like this. Why are they after this data science? This is just because of the endless applications of data science. And it is, nobody can deny the fact that machine learning and data science are getting the limelight. They are getting the growth. But why? This is because of the endless applications of data science and machine learning. But I'll be very keen on data science for this particular course. Okay, as we all know, data science as it is, it starts from this simple sales prediction, like you building a simple sales prediction model, and then it grows. We now have something like smart assistants. We have smart assistants, and then we can also have something like self-driving cars. And all the stuff I just mentioned, they were gotten like the rudiment of everything is data science. They are all powered with data science. That is why we have companies, organizations looking forward to getting data scientists. They crave for talented data scientists just to like grow their companies. And then there is now this massive shortfall of skilled and talented data scientists. There is a shortfall of data scientists, which is why we are here today, just to build you, to bring you hope, to show you how you can be part of this emerging technology without you just parabolating, beating around the bush. During this call, I'll be giving us a very concise path we can follow and then touch some other areas we need to know. All right, so let me start from here. Many people will be like, what is data science? I'm very, very unaware. And if I get to tell some people even around me, if I tell them I'm a data scientist, they'll be like, what do you do? What's data science? It's not part of the common jobs we've been seeing around, like doctors or nurses, like bankers, accountants, engineers. What is data science, to be frank? And then let me just explain it in short, because I can see during the, like when we were filling the poll, dropping our point on the poll, I can see that we have a couple of some people who are teachers, some people are research assistants, and then we are coming from different fields. So to just give us a very basic fundamental, I'll give us the definition of data science, which is like is a field of artificial intelligence that uses statistical analysis, that uses scientific method to generate insight from structured and unstructured data. Data science is just like we using data for research purpose, for reporting dashboards, and all of that. I would like to confirm if we can still hear me very well.
Yes, I think we can still hear you.
We can hear
Okay.
you.
All right. Perfect. Thank you.
I'm hearing
Okay.
you.
All right. So this talk is now centered on four different parts. I had to I had to give it four different parts. And then the first one is a Mugu's journey to becoming a data scientist. That is how you as a person who doesn't know anything about data science before can transform and become somebody like can become a proficient or a proficient data professional. You moving from somebody who has no knowledge of what data science is to somebody who is now impacted as to the journey, as to the route to go for, to follow, to be a data science professional or an industry ready data scientist. Okay, moving on to the next slide, we now have things like fundamentals of data science. That is the journey you have to follow to become a wizard. The journey you have to follow to become a wizard in data science. Okay. I call the first one fundamentals of data science. The second one statistics. Third, programming knowledge. The fourth one manipulation and data analysis, up to data visualization. Then we go to the bigger ones, machine learning. We move up, deep learning. We now go to their big data, also software engineering, and then model deployment. And then data science is not only based on the technical skills alone. It's a combination of both the technical skills and then the soft skills, the normal moral skills. And then the first one, communication skills. Second, storytelling skills. Third, structured thinking. And then we have curiosity. All right. So moving to fundamentals of data science. Most newcomers, even around me here, because I'm presently in the university and we have a lot of aspiring data scientists. Like they were like, hey, Precious, how do I dive into this thing? I love data science. It's something I want to do. But how do I go about it? But when I get to ask them questions, they'll be like, I've started something. What did you start? If I get to ask them, what did you start? I started building models. But this is just very, very wrong. Most newcomers, they make this mistake and they do what everybody around them is doing. Like they're moving forward to building machine learning models, using machine learning techniques without them understanding the fundamentals of data science. And then I feel all this are coming from the generic, like build your machine learning models in five, sorry, build your machine learning models in 5 lines of code. We all must have been seeing stuff like that around. Build your machine learning in 5 lines of code. Some people even be like, get your model deployed on different cloud services using 3 lines of code. We've all must have been seeing stuff like that. But to be frank, that is mile away from reality. That is mile away from reality. For you to dive into data science, you must understand the fundamentals. And when I'm talking about the fundamentals, what do I mean? That is, you must understand some concepts, some simple concepts, like what's the difference between machine learning and deep learning. Those are the things you really need to understand. What's the difference between data science, business analytics, and let's say data engineering? Those are the things you really need to know. And then we have stuff like supervised machine learning and unsupervised machine learning. Some people are competent data, they will be like they are data scientists, but if you get to ask them those questions, they'll be like, I still don't know. What is supervised machine learning? People are all building models. Are they categorized? Do they have sections? Stuff like that. And then you should be able to like differentiate between classification and regression problems. So all of these are the fundamentals. Those examples I've mentioned, they are the fundamentals of data science. You really need to have the understanding of each of them before you can dive fully or think of writing your code. So getting started with the programming languages. All right, so I'll be moving forward. Going to the next one, we have statistics and probability. Let me even ask us, like, how many of us does not even like statistics, probability, mathematics at all? I know we must be many here on this call. Though I know we have teachers here, but still, I'll need your input. Like, how many of us we don't even like statistics, we don't like probability, we don't like mathematics, but we really want to dive into data science? Can I just see, let's say, comment on the chat section? I have to take my slides down. Hello. Oh, does it mean almost every one of us on this call we all like mathematics? Okay, I have one. Okay, Muraina, you also don't like math. Okay, it's understandable. It's understandable. Probability is hard. Yes, we all know it's hard. We know it's hard. I don't like statistics, but I like math. Hey, I really love statistics. Wow, Benjamin, please come and be tutoring every one of us here on this call. I beg. Wow, that's really nice. Because I know some people like maths, they don't like statistics. And some people they don't even like anything pertaining to calculations, all of that. But to be frank, if you want to be a data scientist, then you must have the knowledge of statistics and probability. Machine learning itself, data science itself, starts out with statistics and then it advances. Concept of linear regression, random forest, logistic regression, they are all age-old statistical analysis concepts. You can see the person on this slide. Like the guy is even frustrated of reading the books, not to talk of writing the codes. I know we all must be in the position like that. But to be frank, statistics and probability, they are easy concepts. And once you have this learning mindset, like this is what I want to learn, then I feel nothing is impossible for you to dive into. Statistics is a very big field on its own, but start from the basic parts and then you progress. And if you want to dive into statistics the way it is, You need to learn the first part, which is descriptive statistics. That is where we talk about mean, median, mode, variance, standard deviation, and all of that. Then you now progress to something like probability distribution. You progress to inferential statistics. You go into we have other words like p-values or hypothesis testing and all of that. They are all very simple concepts. All you have to do is to get a course, sit down with it, digest them, and you are good to go. All right. So moving forward, we have programming knowledge. To talk about this, the best way you can interact, the best way to interact with machines, with computer, is you having this programming knowledge. And when we are talking about programming knowledge, we're talking about something like Python or Julia, R, and all of that. But to be frank, you don't need to be the best in programming. You don't need to be the best in programming. And all you have to do, all you need to do is to be comfortable with it. As long as you are comfortable with it, then you now build on the existing skills you are having. At first, just be comfortable with it. And then we have programming knowledge, programming languages like Python. I'm being specific about data science now. We have programming knowledge like Python, Julia, and R. Python, as it is a multi-purpose programming language. Many people are using Python just because it is very, very flexible, it is very, very scalable, and you can combine it with other people's code in other fields. Like when, let's say you are trying to write a code with somebody who is a software developer using something like, let's say, JavaScript, Node, and all of that. It is very, very easy for you to like embed your Python code into whatever the person is writing. Python is very, very scalable and flexible. If you are looking forward to diving more into something more than data science, then Python is just like is the most preferable. And then we have R. If you are somebody who just love analyzing data, if you are somebody who just love visualizing data, then R is also one of it. It's also one of the programming languages you can go for, because it's majorly for statistical analysis and data visualization, and it is very, very packed. And Julia is just like the combination of both Python and R. But to be frank, you don't have to be confused as to the one to go for. You don't have to be confused. People go for Python, and I will always recommend Python programming, the Python language. I will always recommend Python. I'm very, very good at Python. I use Python for everything, for both software development and machine learning. So I would recommend Python for you. But if you now see Python as a no-go area, then you can think of R and Julia. If you go online, check the difference between Python, R, or Julia, which one to go for. You will see a couple of resources there as to the one you can dive into. But for me to recommend, I will always recommend Python for anybody. Okay, we move forward. We now have data analysis and manipulation. Okay, this is just like the is let me say is the most stressful part of data science, where you have to analyze your data, bring it down into something a model can understand, into something an algorithm can understand. Let's say, for example, here you are trying to pack your you are trying to pack your luggage. What will happen if you pack all those your clothes? If you pack all your clothes into the bag at once, you just put everything inside the bag at once. That means your clothes will get rumbled, some will get spoiled, and it will even lose shape. It will get rumbled, as I've said earlier. So let's now say you now have to take your time, you carry your iron, and then you press them one after the other, and then you stack them on top of each other before putting them in your bag. That is, this one is way efficient, and then your clothes will not get rumbled, your clothes will also not get spoiled. So this is just data analysis and manipulation. It's just like you cleaning your code into something a model can understand. You cleaning your code in order for you to make data decision. Cleaning your code in order to generate insight from it. And if you want to dive into this, you really need the knowledge of Excel. We all must have heard Excel if we are not familiar with Excel. You need the knowledge of Excel, we need the knowledge of SQL, and then pandas in Python. Pandas is very necessary for anything called data wrangling, data manipulation. And I think I got a question earlier. Somebody was like, the steps into getting your data cleaned. If I get the question well, like the steps for you to clean your data well, for you to get your data into something you need so that you can generate insight from it. We have a couple of them. And then the first one, we all know what we data scientists use. Like Jupyter Notebook is the most known IDE we use. Then when you import your data, the basic steps into cleaning your data is first one, filling all the missing values inside it. Then you can use .describe to check the statistical composition of your data. After checking those ones, you check your data type, the type of data you're having in your entire data, and then you can later use pandas functions to fill in missing values. After filling missing values, you can now go ahead with converting all your categorical data into numerical data. That is if you are trying to fit your data into a model. And that is, we use stuffs like label encoder, pd.getDummy, but I don't want to dive into the technical area on this call. You will get to know them once you start taking your courses. All right. So I guess I've been able to make justice to data analysis and manipulation. Let's now go to data visualization. To be frank, data visualization is just like the most fun part of data analysis. A good data visualizer, a good data visualization expert will always know how to create story from visualizations, like you generating insights, and it's very, very fun. You just sitting down on creating charts, creating dashboard. For me, it's very, very fun. So if you want to dive into data visualization, you really need to know some stuff like the plot. There are some plots you can manipulate. Let's say Instagram, we have plots like bar charts, we have plots like pie charts. All those words you can pass in your data to those charts, and then it will be very, very interactive. And for you to now do something like that, you need tools and softwares. There are very, very interactive. Is very, very interactive. Tableau is also very, very interactive, not to talk of Power BI. And all these software, they are free. Just download them on your laptop and then you get to make use of them. And they are packed with this functionality, drag and drop functionality. You have your data, you import your data into those software, and then you just drag your data, each of your data columns, you drag them, drop them into different visualization parts, and then they will get displayed. It is very, very easy to visualize data. And also you can visualize your data using pandas function in Python, using matplotlib and seaborn. Yes, matplotlib and seaborn. Matplotlib and seaborn, they are also very, very compact. Like they bring amazing visuals if you know how to make use of them very well. Matplotlib and seaborn, you visualize your data and then they'll be very, very interactive. All right, so we moving forward, we go to machine learning. Hello, can we still all hear me? Hope I'm not speaking to myself.
Yes, we can hear you.
We can hear you.
All right. Amazing, amazing. Thank
Yes,
you
we can
very
hear
much.
you.
Okay, so I'm going to machine learning now. And most people will be like, the concept of machine learning is very, very vague. They'll be like, machine learning is vague. Can you explain machine learning is something in something in a way I can easily understand? Like what does all those models, what do they do? All those models, what do they do? How do I understand the way they work? So I always explain it this way. Now, let's say I would like I would like all of you to follow now. Let's say a young child is playing at home, and this young child is seeing a candle flame for the first time. As I suspected, we all know that babies are curious. So, as expected, this young child stick his hand over the candle flame. The way I said earlier, a baby is at home and he is seeing a candle flame for the first time. Since babies are curious, the baby thinks of sticking his hand over the candle flame, and then he sticks his hand over the candle flame. And then after sticking his hand, the baby will cry and yell due to the hotness from the candle flame. We all know candles flame, they are very, very painful. So the baby will cry and yell from the hotness of the candle flame. Let's say 2 days after, this same young child is playing in the kitchen, and then he is seeing a stove top for the first time. And then babies, as I said earlier, they are always curious, very, very curious. This baby now thinks of sticking his hand over the stove top. But as he is about to do this thing, he's now noticing the red and bright color of the flame of on the stove top. And then this time, the baby will now remember the incidents of the previous day. And then after remembering, the baby will ignore the stove top because nobody wants to be a victim twice. We understand. So this baby will ignore the stove top and not stick his hand over the stove top. Because this is just machine learning, because this young child is learning pattern from this candle flame to make predictions on the stove top. He is learning the pattern of red and bright means pain from the candle flame, now making predictions on the stove top. Let's now say this young child ignored the stove top because his parents ignored him, who warned him against it. Then that would be explicit programming and not machine learning. I hope we've been able to like understand the concept with this very simple explanation. It is just like it's a form of artificial intelligence where our model observes patterns, it learns from these patterns and uses what it learns to make predictions. And I do say it, machine learning is just the skills that gives inner satisfaction, because you seeing yourself building models that can predict events over time. I was very, very astonished when I started. I was like, wow, how does like these models, how do they work? What's inside of them? But it's still something nobody has been able to answer up till now. But an example is when you can build a model that can predict customers that will pay back or default on their loan based on their historical data. It's very, very fascinating. And if you now want to dive into something like this, you need to learn some simple algorithm like logistic regression, linear regression, before you can now dive into the ensemble model, the higher algorithm boosting classifiers like random forest classifier, XGBoost classifier, cat boost, light GBM, and a lot of them. Like I said earlier, I won't like to make this talk too comprehensive. Okay, moving forward, we have deep learning. If you are somebody who is very, very fascinated about technologies, if you are somebody who is very fascinated about, let's say, self-driving cars, smart assistants, about, as I've mentioned earlier, this is one of the great advancement of artificial intelligence, where you can use your model in detecting different stuff using images, using videos, using tests, audios, and all of that. And if you now want to dive into this, the knowledge of, I mentioned Python, R, Julia. If you want to dive into deep learning, the knowledge of Python is the most preferable. Is the most preferable. Anything deep learning, then you have to make use of Python programming language. And then there are some libraries you have to learn, like TensorFlow, Keras for deep learning, for building deep learning models. TensorFlow, you get to know about Keras, you get to know about PyTorch. And then let's now say all those the specific tools you have to be making use of. We have like specific solutions you can build. You can make use of convolutional neural network. You can make use of recurrent neural network. We have natural language processing. We have object detection. And as we can see from this slide, computer vision is just like the most hyped one, the one people are making use of very, very well. Like presently, computer vision project, there are very many out there. And then we have object detection. I had to give computer vision 80%. Natural language processing, like you making use of like you producing building a model like sentiment analysis, or a model that can predict somebody's behavior from, let's say, something they dropped, their essay, stuff like that. And then we have object detection, a model being able to detect, let's say, a biro now, a model that can detect a biro, a model that can detect human's face, all of that. Okay, so let's move forward. We have big data. The concept of big data had to come into limelight during the advancement of social media network, internet, and all of that. And then we now have data in large volumes, large velocity, large veracity. So for big companies and organizations to now make use of this thing extensively, they had to now implement big data technologies like Flinks, Apache, Spark, all of that. So sorry, I'm not into big data, but I'll just try and digest it into something we can understand. So they now had to think of big data technologies they can manipulate so as to store this data effectively without them losing their data. We now have stuff like Apache. You can get to learn Apache, you get to learn Flinks, you get to learn Sparks and all of that. Okay, let's move forward. We have software engineering. Most people will now be like, does it mean like for me to be a data scientist, I must know everything about software engineering? But the answer is no. You don't necessarily need to be a a software engineer, a software developer. But the fundamental of software development is kind of important, because you being able to write your code in the production level, you being able to write your code during production without it causing havoc is a very, very important skills. Because most data scientists, when it comes to model deployment and all, you see them raising their hands, please, I can't move on. They all know how to build data, build models, they don't know how to deploy. But as a data scientist who wants to be industry ready, then you need a little knowledge, the fundamental of software engineering. And it can just be a simple backend like Docker, like Flask, PHP, Django, Node.js, just for you to write scalable codes during production. Okay, we move forward. Let me be fast and
Okay,
concise. We move
Precious.
on to model
Before,
deployment.
okay, sorry, Precious. Let's
Okay,
take like 2 minutes break before we move forward. Okay, so just 2 minute break, and we are back. So you can unshare your screen. Yeah.
all right.
Okay. Good. So guys, while we take the 2 minute break, I'll just play an interesting video for you.
I am AI, accelerating your discoveries to solve the great challenges of our time. I am a visionary, bringing characters to life with more natural movement, generating brilliant new worlds for them to explore, and inventing new ways to bring out the creative genius in us all. I am a protector, leading the way into the most dangerous environments and searching for signs of life. I am a guardian, listening for the sounds of destruction to save our forests, and using satellites to bring freedom to those who are enslaved. I am a navigator, finding safer paths for cross-country deliveries and taking personal travel to new heights. I am a scientist, exploring oceans of data to understand extreme weather patterns and studying the building blocks of life to save a community from hunger. I am a healer, giving hope to those who suffer from the most challenging diseases. And tapping into the brain to rejuvenate paralyzed limbs. I am even the composer of the music you're hearing. I am AI, brought to life by NVIDIA, deep learning, and brilliant minds everywhere.
All right, welcome back, guys. So we can continue with the presentation now. Okay,
All
over to you,
right.
Precious. Yeah.
Okay, I'm back. Okay, let me share my screen again. All right, so nice having every one of us back here. All right, as I was saying earlier, we were on model deployment. Okay, oh, just like what we have on this screen right now. I hope we are all enjoying this. Hope I'm not sounding too boring. But data science is just something I have to intuitively explain so that we can be boast of it and be able to like we'll be boast of it outside without having to rack our brain. What is this? What is that? Hope we are finding it interesting. Oh no. Oh, okay. Oh, all right, all right. Thank you very much. Okay, moving forward, we get to model deployment. As it is written on this slide, I said model deployment is the most underrated step in machine learning's life cycle. Because most people they will be like, all they have to know is how to build machine learning models and all of that, but they don't always bother themselves to deploy their models, make it live on web services, REST APIs, and all. Let's now say, for example, now you are working for a company and then a company that always build products for lenders. Okay, let's say the company I work with now, we have many lenders on our platform, and then we get to build products for them. Let's now say the way I am a data scientist now. All I know how to do is to build my models, have it on my Jupyter notebook or my laptop, or let's say at most push my code to GitHub. Those lenders that are in need of my product, of my machine learning models, how do we expect them to get the model are built if I don't have the knowledge of model deployment? So that's where model deployment comes in. You must be able to like host your models on various cloud services. And as long as you're having the knowledge of software engineering, let's say Flask, even with ordinary Flask, you will be able to like host your models on cloud services like Heroku. And those cloud services, some of them are free, and while some are paid. But if you are working for your personal project, something like that, you can always go for the free one like Heroku. We can check heroku.com. The stores, the cloud services, all you have to do is to sign up, host your model, and deploy. When I'm talking about deployment, you can deploy your model as a backend stuff, and then the front end part will be consuming your model from the backend, and then your predictions, the predictions that are always coming up on your Jupyter notebook, will now be getting displayed on the website. We get to understand that. All right. So that is the last part of the technical skills. We go on to soft skills. And the first one here is communication, storytelling, curiosity, structured thinking. Talking about communication, I said good communication is just like simulating as a black coffee and just as hard to sleep over. A data scientist, a very good data. I think I got a question earlier, like characteristics of a good data scientist. I think I have the answers here. A good communication skills. As a data scientist, you will be able to communicate whatever things you are working on. Data science projects, they are like treasures from the dump. They are like treasures. And you now doing something like that. When I'm talking about treasure, that is when I'm talking about treasure, the treasure there is the insight from your data. The treasure is the insight from your data. And for somebody who doesn't know anything about data science, you must be able to communicate your problem statement to a mugu, to a novice who doesn't know anything about it. So that's where the communication skills comes in. And let's say you are working for companies, you must be able to like give them whatever you are working on, the intuition about it, how you came about it, what your problem is going to, what your solution is going to come about, the problem it is addressing. All right, so we go to storytelling. And now from the slides here, we have, imagine watching a cricket match start, and then you are shown with the runs scored on each ball in the form of a table. Do you think you will understand better? Let's now say all those things in form of a table, they are now represented in bar charts, and then you can now see them in different colors. We'll be able to understand that one better compared to the one on tables. So that's storytelling, you using the visualization techniques in displaying your insight. And then both of them, like all of these soft skills, they are working together hand in hand. Your storytelling is you being able to break down a very large problem or a solution, a very large deep problem into something that is understandable by somebody who doesn't know anything about it. Okay, we now go to curiosity. As a data scientist, you must be very, very curious, so as to know the kind of problem you can solve, you have to solve. And curiosity, like, why did this happen? How did this happen? If I tweak this particular model, is it going to affect my overall results? If I get to do this thing, what's going to be the outcome? if I do it this way, is the result going to be different from the one I did earlier? So that's just curiosity. You must be very, very curious. And to be frank, if you are somebody that always take time to think, if you are dull, it will be very, very it will be very, very hard to survive. But I don't feel anybody, I don't think data science is a very hard field for anybody to dive into. Okay, we now get to structured thinking. Let's say you want to become a data scientist now. This very large goal, you have to break it down into multiple parts. The first one is you getting to learn, training, then preparing your resume, sorry, and then you applying for a job. That's structured thinking, breaking a very large goal, a very large problem into simple, understandable terms. Okay, so the soft skills are communication, storytelling, curiosity, and you being able to think in a structured way, in a structured manner. All right, moving forward. The second part, like I said when we started, this talk is divided into four. The rest of them are short. Just the first part is kind of voluminous. Okay. So the second part is not every data scientist does data science work, because there are many career jobs in data science. So if you are learning data science, that doesn't mean you have to just be a data scientist. There are many other things you can do. So moving on, we have data analyst, data architect, data scientist, data engineer, machine learning engineer, and MLOps engineer. When we are talking about data analyst, a data analyst knows how to break down data, how to clean data, how to how to analyze data, run them, manipulate them into something that can be used for further research, for further work. Okay, as a data analyst now, there are some things you have to learn, like the programming tools, the visualization tools, communication skills, your curiosity skills, your statistics skills also. So as a data analyst, you need to understand all of this. And some business, like let's say some career opportunities in that are surrounding data analyst is, let's say, business intelligence analyst or business intelligence specialist. We all know those working in the business areas, they are the one they are the one kind of keen with this data analyst concept. Like somebody who mentioned um data science in banking, in bank, how to combine data science in bank. Most of those people that combine data science to the finance sector, they are most time called data analyst or business intelligence analyst, business intelligence specialist. That is, and then for you to become somebody like that, you really need to understand Excel, like everything. You need to understand Excel. After Excel, you need SQL to be able to to be able to query your data from databases. Aside from SQL, you need to understand the visualization techniques, like the ones I mentioned. Visualization techniques. That's the work of most business intelligence analysts, data analysts. Now moving on to data architect. I talked about big data earlier, and then those people that are always in charge of big data, they are called data architects. They are always interested in bringing this data together for those data not to be lost. So they are always into data management. They build infrastructures so as just for the data not to be lost. Okay, and for you to become a data architect, I mentioned it earlier, the stuff you really have to learn: Sparks, Apache Flink, and then some relational and non-relational databases. Aside from you knowing SQL, you also need the knowledge of, let's say, MongoDB, non-relation database. You need the knowledge of MySQL or SQLite. Okay, so we now move forward. Oh, data scientist. This is, I don't want to talk about data build pipelines for those data so that they can lead to the production stage. I hope we get to understand. All those data engineers, they have both programming knowledge, software engineering knowledge, and pipeline management knowledge. Okay, and the skills you really need to learn, like the courses, languages you really need to learn. Oh, for data engineer and data architect, they are kind of similar, but still different organization, they assign tasks based on levels. A data engineer can still say, I'm a competent data architect, and a data architect too, to some extent, can still say, I'm a data engineer. I hope we get to understand. Now we get to machine learning and then
Can hardly hear you.
Yeah, I think you. Okay, can you check your network again, Precious?
She's muted.
Yeah. So, okay, you've mute
oh,
yourself.
sorry.
Maybe.
Can you hear me now?
Okay. Yeah.
I think she did that intentionally because of the call.
Oh,
Yes, they can hear
that
you.
was a mistake. So sorry. So where did I stop? Like where was I before the network failed?
Not too much. You can just start
Okay.
from where you are. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. All right. So we get to I've explained machine learning engineers. All those machine learning engineers, they make sure they start from data collection up to model deployment. All right. We now have MLOps engineers. MLOps engineers, they are kind of more vast in both DevOps, in machine learning, and also in data engineering. But that's just like the biggest part of the life cycle. You being a machine learning engineer and then creating CI/CD pipelines for your models or hosting models on cloud, site reliability, you configuring your site and all. So that's everything about MLOps. Now talking about data scientists, those data scientists, they are just like jack of all trades. As a data scientist, you can have the knowledge of everything. You can have the knowledge of everything, but not necessarily everything. But a competent data scientist, at times, they do have knowledge of ML engineering, data architect, data analyst, and MLOps engineering. All right. So data science is just like the broad part of it. And as we know, AI is the biggest father. And then we have deep learning under, we have machine learning before it gets to data science. But data scientists are just like jack of all trades. Let me just put it that way. Okay, now how to stand out as a data scientist. So these are my 4 points. How to stand out as a data scientist. And why am I bringing up this particular point? Because we have many data scientists around. I study at Obafemi Awolowo University, and to be frank, we have many people that are into data science, many undergraduates that are into data science, and some are even competent data scientists already. But why? What can differentiate you from the whole labor market? What can differentiate you? What can make you stand out? And those are the 4 points I listed here. The first one is your GitHub. Second one is Kaggle. Third one is starting a project, and then last one, portfolio website. Talking about GitHub, many data scientists, after training their models, after having them on their local machine, they still find it difficult to host to push their code to GitHub. And if you see most of their profiles, you'll be seeing like one commit for a whole year. No, don't let me downgrade it. Let's say 50 commits in whole year, something like that. And for you to stand out, your GitHub profile really, really matters. Because let's say after your resume, after your CV and all, your GitHub is the next thing that will speak for you. Is the next thing that will speak for you. Any job you want to get, if in Nigeria or outside Nigeria, they will always check your GitHub profile, because recruiters, they are interested in the things you've done before. They want to see the project you've done, how you've been able to do it, how scalable your codes are. They will always check your repositories, go through them, and see how packed your projects have been. You understand? So that's just the GitHub part. You must make sure you have a very good GitHub profile. Make sure you commit, engage in existing projects. You can see there's something called open source. As a data scientist, you can engage in open source projects, and then that will also boost your profile very, very much. Engage in open source projects, create pull requests, submit requests, people will merge, and then you get to collaborate with even other data scientists in the field. We now go to Kaggle. And it is not a new start. For you to become a data scientist, then you really need the you really need the experience of online competitions like hackathons, data science competitions, because it is very, very essential. I don't think there's another way of you having to getting to learn this thing aside from you building a project. There's no other way for you to learn this thing than competing in hackathons, like you participating in hackathons and competitions, data science competitions. I got to know about all of this from Data Science Nigeria organization here in Nigeria. They up data scientists and they always bring out boot camp every year. So as a data scientist, during their programs, they use either Zindi or Kaggle. Then you get to submit your codes, and it's always very, very interesting. You seeing data scientists all over Nigeria solving just one particular problem, and then there'll still be this eagerness, like I want to be the best on the leaderboard, I want to be the best person on the leaderboard, something like that. And with you having this kind of eagerness in you, you get to compete in more projects like that, because each of those projects you are participating in on Kaggle, Zindi, they really count. And I hope we all know Kaggle and Zindi. If you don't know Kaggle, if you don't know Zindi, go to zindi.africa or Google. If you don't know Kaggle, kaggle.com, create your profile, and then you will see existing competitions you can participate in. And aside from that one, existing data set. Let's say you want to start a project now, there are data sets there for you to make use of. Just go there, download those data sets, and they even have this online Jupyter notebook. There is Kaggle notebook, something like your Jupyter notebook, the normal IDE we use for training our model. They have it already on it. Just go there, import the data set, clean it, manipulate it, try different styles, show your skills, and then you push your code to GitHub. All right, moving forward, we have started project. I know this is very, very coming up with a project can be very, very hard, to be frank. Coming up with something, some people will be like, I've been thinking of what to do. I've been thinking of the kind of project to work on, but I just can't figure it out. It's very, very normal. It's very, very normal. And to tell you, completing a personal project is 100 times better. It's 100 times more valuable than any online certificate you'll be getting, because all those projects will always showcase your skills. And as I was saying before, if you are somebody who doesn't know how to come up with a project you can dive in, then I always tell people this thing. If you are somebody who is a lover of basketball, just think about it. All those teams that always play, what's like the factor indicating a team that will win or not? You can always think about it, manipulate it. How can I apply data science in this particular thing I have interest in? If you are somebody who is a cook, if you are somebody who likes cooking very well, think about it. Generate a recipe in recipe data set, and then you can build a model that can always predict, that can always bring a replacement ingredient for a missing ingredient. Those are the ways we can always come up with projects. And then the third one now, let's say, which other example can I give? A lot more in that area. Just think about it. How can I be part of this thing? How can I come up with something that will be valuable, that people will have interest in? If you're somebody that likes cooking, think about it. Cooking, recipe, ingredients. A model should be able to do something like this. And if you are somebody in the healthcare sector, how can I apply data science in this healthcare sector? That's what I tell people. I'm somebody who is interested in AI and healthcare. That is, you applying your technology skills in healthcare industry, and then you can come up about it. All this, can I predict something? Can I use my model to predict somebody that will have cancer in like a microscopic image that contains cancer? Can I use my model in predicting something like that? And if you're somebody who likes deep learning, all those advanced stuffs, this is the era of COVID-19. You can think about it. Can I build a model that can detect if somebody is putting on a face mask or not? Those are projects you can always come up with. All right. I hope I've been able to make justice to that. Just think of a project you can work on, because it is far more valuable than you having online certificates. And then we move forward, portfolio website. If you are somebody like me who doesn't have a background in technology, I'm not a computer science student, I'm a medical student. If you're somebody who doesn't have a knowledge in computer science, in those technology related fields, then you must think of a way to stand out. You must think of a way to stand out, because your bachelor degree will not be able to prove that. And then your portfolio website is something that can stand in place. When I started applying for jobs back then in 2020, I had to think about it. Any job I want to apply for, they'll be like, where's your portfolio website? Drop a link to your portfolio website. And then I just be like, hey, I'm only having a CV. How do I build a website? And then I was not thinking about it. I'm in tech. Am I still now going to pay somebody to build a portfolio website for me? Then I went ahead to learn HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, and with Bootstrap, and then I was able to use those knowledge to come up and build my own personal portfolio website. Those are also that portfolio website is also part of the project on my resume. You understand how these things are kind of interwoven. All right, so you all must think of building a portfolio website if you want to emerge as a data scientist, as a proficient data scientist. All right, let's move forward. We soon get to the end of this talk, sorry. And I also have, okay, I had to, these are the major ways of standing out. I had to bring out the minor ones, like you joining a community. It is very, very helpful. If you are a data scientist or an aspiring data scientist and you've been learning alone since all these days, it's though if you're somebody who has passion, who is very, very passionate, it will help you. But there will be some points where the knowledge of others is necessary. The knowledge of other people is very, very necessary. So you can look for a community of aspiring data scientists like you, join them, whatever programs they are doing, join them, participate, showcase your skills, and with them the vibe and the energy will be coming. To tell you, being in tech is it can be very, very hard sometimes, because let's say you are trying to solve a problem, and then you find it difficult to do for hours, for days. It will get frustrating. But if you're in a community like that, you can always throw your questions to other data scientists. Somebody must have done that particular project you are trying to solve, that particular error. Somebody must have had it before. So drop something like that. Hello, I'm having this issue. How do I go about it? So that's just the power of community. And then have a mentor. I started this data science stuff in 2020, January 2020, and I got my first job in January 2021. How did I do it? The power of mentor. My brother, my not immediate brother, he is a software engineer, a machine learning software engineer. You understand? So I was able to like draft a timeline for myself, and then I was following it keenly. So if you have a mentor, it's it's an advantage. It's an advantage if you have a mentor, because it will direct you, it will show you a specific path without you having to beat around the bush. Then the third one, building your resume. Build your resume is very, very important. The way all those your portfolio website is important, your resume is also very, very important. And some people, they'll be like, I've done Titanic, competition. We all know Titanic, or people trying to survive in a shipwreck. We all must be familiar with it. So people be like, I've done Titanic project on cargo. I've done housing price project challenge on cargo. Those are the things I have on my resume. No, it shouldn't be that way. You must have more complex projects than those ones. Have complex project on your CV, on your resume, and not just cheap one for beginners. Because those are the things that will make you stand out. All those your projects you've done. And the next one I said, own a blog is very, very important. I have a blog where I always document my progress. I write articles every now and then. If I'm solving a problem, if I'm working on a project, then I have to write an article alongside with it. Because even let's say you've not been able to deploy your model yourself, your article will get that your project out, and people will get to know that project you've done through the article you've written. I hope we get to understand part. Have a blog. We have Medium. Medium is free. You don't need to go for the priced one. Medium is free. Medium.com. Ashnode too. Ashnode too is free. Just sign up on those platforms. Write articles about your projects you've done. Teach other people too. And I feel the more you teach, the more you understand, the more you learn better. So try and write articles, own a blog, share the link to your blog for people to see. And then I said, improve your network. Hey, improve your network is very, very important, because this particular era we have, I feel we even get more job opportunities. Some people will be like, how do I get data science? To get data science job is very, very hard. How do I get job as a data scientist, as somebody who is very competent with data science? One of the most important points is you improving your network. If you are having people, like-minded people in your network, they will refer you for jobs. LinkedIn is there, Twitter is there. All those social media platforms, they are there for you to showcase your skills. They are there for you to like show yourself, tell people what you do. To be frank, if you apply for, let's say, 10 job opportunities, you see applications and you apply for them, like 10 of them, none of them might even reach out back to you. You may not even get responses from all of them. But if somebody is coming to your DM, hello, Precious, I saw your profile on LinkedIn. I can see you are a data scientist and I've seen most of your works out there. How can you become part of this, our team? We know that you can. With your knowledge, you'll be able to impact us positively. People will reach out to you if your profile is standing out. So that's, and if you have good connection, good networks, when people see that you are the best fit for this job, they will always refer to you. All right, so let's make use of our social media pages very well, LinkedIn, Twitter, just to generate good networks and referrals. All right, and I said set goals. I called it SMART: specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time bound. I know this is very, very explanatory. Be specific with your goals. Make sure it's something that is measurable and attainable. Also be realistic. Don't make vague dreams. Don't make vague goals. And then time bound. Always break your goals into smaller sections. All right, because of our time. The next part, the fourth part of this talk is avoid common mistakes people make while learning data science. Okay. And then I call the first one, assuming what you see in ML competitions is what real life jobs are. The second one, you want to be a data scientist, don't start with machine learning. Using too many data science terms and then preparing only theoretical without applying them. Talking about assuming what you see in ML competitions is what real life jobs are. The thing there is, most ML competitions we always engage in. I know there's no other way, like I said earlier, there's no other way for you to become a good data scientist without you joining all those competitions. Like it will always build you. It will always build you. So all those competitions, let me start from here. The data they always provide you, the number one thing, the data they always provide you with on all those competitions, they already made data. They would have converted those data into tabular formats on rows and columns, and then you get to download them and pre-process. That's how most of those competitions are. But in real life, when you're working with real life data, please, you'll be the one to go to the data dump, extract the data yourself. And most of the time, the data will not be, it won't even be a CSV, it won't be a .excel, it won't be a CSV file. It can be JSON, and then you'll be the one to convert that JSON file to a CSV yourself. And some data, they'll be very, very dirty. Most of those data we have in competitions, they've been pre-processed already before they are released out there. So don't think what you see in ML competitions are what real life jobs are. And that's the part about data. You'll be the one to extract your data from jobs when you're working with real life data, or you scrape your data from the web or from different Twitter or social media platforms. Hello, can we all hear me? Hope I'm not breaking.
Yes,
Yes,
we
we
can
We
hear
are
you.
hearing
can
you.
hear you, Precious.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I can hear
Okay.
you, but can you say what you just said now? I didn't get something.
Can I do what? Please come again.
Just repeat what you said about real life jobs and competitions being the same or what? I didn't get
Okay.
it.
All right. All right. Thank you. I said, assuming what you see in ML competitions is what real life jobs are. So I made mention of data, the kind of data you get in ML competitions, all those competitions you see on Kaggle and LinkedIn. All those data, they have been pre-processed by the organizers. They've already been pre-processed and analyzed. So you as somebody who is an aspiring data scientist, you just log into the site, download those data and make use of them. But most real life projects, they are not like that, because you will be the one to go to those data dump and extract those data yourself in their dirty format. And most of these data, they will not be in CSV, they will not be in Excel format. Some will be JSON, and then you'll be the one to convert those JSON data into CSV or Excel. That's a really deep work. So you shouldn't see all those real life projects, real life work as what you see in competitions. And that's the part of data. And then I'll talk about the algorithms we always make use of. There are algorithms like examples, all those examples models, all those big models we always use during competitions. And then we know that like during competitions, the goal is to be the top on the leaderboard. And I've also done this particular thing very, very well. I do it most times. We get to like stack different models on top of each other. So people, they will use they will use LGBL, they will stack it on top cat boost, they will stack it on top SG boost just to get better performance. And real life models, real life algorithms, real life projects, they are not always like that. And We even have some stuff like stacking, bagging, boosting. They are concepts in machine learning. You will get to learn them over time. Those things, they are not necessary when you are working with. They are not really necessary. Not that you cast them aside totally, but they are not really necessary when you are working with real life projects. Because let's say you are working with the first job I got, I was given the company's data and I was told to build a machine learning model to predict customers that will pay back or default on their loans. Then I used all those big models. To be frank, those models, they were very, very biased. They were very, very biased. And then I now had to now calm down and use linear regression, logistic regression, for the regression project. And then I used random forest and gradient boosting for the classification project. So this is just to tell you, all those real life projects, all you need to know, all you need to use are those simple algorithms. And let me tell you, they are performing way better than all those stacked algorithms, stacked models on top of each other. All right, that's just everything about assuming what you see in ML competitions is what real life jobs are. Because most people, it is when they dive into it, they will not be like, wow, so this is how this thing is. Okay, so want to be a data scientist, don't start with ML. I mentioned that one at the beginning of the talk. Don't think you can just dive into machine learning straight. Data science is a subset of machine learning. So you learn the fundamentals first before diving into ML. Don't make the mistake other people are making. All right. We now the next one is using too many data science terms. Some people, if you check their CV, you'll be like, I'm competent in SG Boost. I use SG Boost. I use like GPM. I use all those big algorithms. All those terminologies, data science terminologies, they are not necessary when you are trying to build your resume. Because a recruiter, what they are interested in, they want to see your project, the project you've done, you explaining it in a simple and concise manner with you passing out the real information from it. So most of the time, all those big terminologies will not do justice to it. So you have to like calm down, bring those stuffs down. I'm talking about resume now, using many data science terms on your resume. Try and bring them down into something that can be on that is understandable. Anybody that will be seeing it will be able to understand and digest. All right. And I said preparing only theoretical without applying them. This is about applying for jobs during interviews. Some people, you get when a recruiter is asking them, what do you, let's say for random forest now, what do you know about random forest? And for us that don't know anything about data science before, random forest is a classifier, is an algorithm for machine learning. A recruiter, an interviewer can ask you, what do you know about machine learning? About random forest. How does random forest work? If you are somebody who has not made use of random forest before, to tell you the truth, it will be very, very hard for you to answer that kind of question, because you'll be like random forest. Then that's where you now be talking about all those things you read in articles, all those documentation, all those documentation you read and all. But if you've been able to like work on on a project using random forest, then you'll be able to explain how random forest work intuitively. They can even ask you, let's say your random forest model is not predicting the way it should be predicting. How do you improve the performance of this model? These are simple questions if you are being practical and not theoretical. I hope we get to understand that part. You must be practical, make use of those algorithms, and then during interviews, you'll be able to flow with your interviewers. I've had some interviews where throughout the call, it was just like we gisting, we conversing, just sharing knowledge. You understand? So that's how it should be. Prepare for the practical part and not theoretical alone. All right. So we move forward. Now we have the frequently asked questions. People will be like, how long does it take for somebody to become a data scientist? Okay, I said this one before. I started learning data science and machine learning in 2020, and I got my first job in 2021. So that is if you are consistent. Though most people, I won't tell them to follow the path I follow, because I can be a workaholic sometimes. I work in lot. If I'm trying to solve a problem without me getting the results, I'm not leaving the place. That is, every other thing in my life apart from that project, they'll be on hold. They'll be on hold. So most people, they won't be able to like follow it, because I can be aggressive when it comes to achieving goals and all. But if you are consistent, passionate, and you know what you really want, if this data science is what you want, then it's I won't say a specific time. I won't say a specific time, but it is something you can achieve in with minimal stress. Just be consistent and be passionate. Have passion for what you want and go for it. All right. And then the next question is, how much do the courses? How much do they cost? Do I have to pay for them? Ever since I've started taking courses, ever since I've been taking courses, using all those, getting online certificates, I've never paid for any. I've never paid for any course before. I've never paid for any. If the course is not free, I will get it through, let's say, scholarship. I'll get it through, let's say, referrals on LinkedIn, on Twitter, all of that. So you don't necessarily need to pay. And to talk about the beginner courses, like courses on Python, courses on SQL, on Power BI, you don't have to pay. They are all free online. Just utilize the power of Google. Utilize Google very well. Do your research. You can even put free Python programming courses for free. You will see them and then you will take them. And they are always very, very packed. Sites like Udacity, their Python course is free. I use Udacity. Though Udemy, some of the courses on Udemy, they are paid, but you can check, you get scholarship, you get referrals for those courses. Udemy is there, dataquest.io is there. We have Data Camp. You can get Data Camp subscription for free. Data Camp is there. All those courses, you can take them for free without having to pay a penny or a dime. So what are the benefits of data science certification? Data science certifications, they are just to prepare you, and then they are just to show that you are interested in this field, but they won't really help when it comes to you getting jobs. People want to see what you can do and not your certificate. So I hope you get to understand that. It's not like you having a certificate is not good, it's something that is bad, but still the hands-on skills is very, very necessary compared to certificate. All right. So should I participate in hackathon? Will that help me in getting a job? It's good to participate in hackathon, but it's not like they will help you in getting a job. But to prepare yourself, to make yourself industry ready, to make yourself a proficient data scientist, then you must participate in hackathon. But not that they will help you in getting a job. Okay. Data science skills. What skills should be listed down in my resume? Sorry. Oh, I've been able to make justice to that one as well. Don't go for all those small projects on Cargo and Zindi like Titanic housing price. Think about the project on your own. Build those projects and showcase them on your CV. Showcase them on your CV, not small projects. And then, how can I become a data scientist without writing codes? People ask this question a lot. They'll be like, can I become a data scientist? I don't want to write code. I just want to be a good data scientist. Well, you can become a data analyst without writing codes when you know Excel, Power BI, Tableau, and SQL is not really like code, but you get to write some commands for SQL. So you can still become a data analyst without writing codes. Also, talking about Excel, there are still some formulas you have to like apply for manipulating your data on an Excel sheet. But still, you can still become a data analyst without writing too much code. Then that means you will not be making use of all those Jupyter notebook. You will not be making use of Jupyter notebook. You cannot just be like a BI analyst making use of Excel, Power BI, Tableau, SQL, and Plotly alone. But if you want to become a data scientist and the rest of the career jobs attached to it, then you must write codes. You must write codes. And then the first thing is Python programming. Okay. Then the next one, how do I become an industry-ready data science professional? The talk, everything I've been centered on how to become an industry-ready data science professional. To become a data science industry-ready professional, you just have to, like everything I've been mentioning since, just apply them in your day-to-day activities, set goals, do all those things. It's not like you can just wake up a day and become industry-ready. And some people be like, they always learn more while working. Some people they be like they get to learn more, they get to more experience on the job and not before getting the job. But still, you can still gather some experience without you working. I can say ever since I started working, I've really learned a lot of things. Cause especially when you are working for Nigerian startups, they will push you. They will push you very well to the head, and then you have to learn all those skills. So for you to become an industry-ready data science professional, you can get those skills before getting those jobs, and then you can learn on the job as well. All right. this is the end of the talk. Let me check the questions that were asked earlier. I hope I've been able to make justice to each of them.
Okay, Precious, I have the questions here to help you,
All right.
and I will just post some of them that have not been answered because you've answered some of them in the course of this wonderful presentation.
All right.
But I will just pick on those that are yet to be answered. Then I can post it on the chat box there.
All right. So
Okay.
let me stop
So
sharing then.
so I have this one. I have it in the chat box now.
Okay, I'm trying to check. Okay, transitioning to data science from an unrelated career. Okay. From what I said earlier, you must be able to apply data science in whatever field you are into. Let's start from here. Data science is not like software engineering. It's not like web development where you build product and then it will just go live straight. If you want to be a data scientist and then you want to stand out, then you must be able to apply data science in whatever field you are, in whatever field you are into. Like I said, I'm a medical student and all my goals is to apply data science in my field. That is, if you are somebody who is studying, let's say finance, if you are a finance student, or let's say you are studying accounting, all those related courses to banking, you should be able to think of a way of applying data science in that field. If you are somebody, which other career field can I make mention of? If you are in any field, let's say agri, if you are, let's say you are into agricultural science and all, you should be able to think of how to apply data science in agriculture, how to apply data science in agri. That is, you can, there are some projects like disease detection, plant disease detection, crop disease detection, crop maturity detection, something like that. So if you are into data science, let me just put it this way. If you are into data science, there must be a field you are trying to apply it to. Unless you just want to like be beating around the bush and then be like all those common people that are into data science. And then if you are now, some people now be like, do I have to like drop the previous field do I need to drop it? But no, you don't need to drop your field. Like some people be like somebody who is into agric now, you'd be like, do I need to like stop being an agricultural scientist and then just focus on being a data scientist? But the answer is no. There are ways of applying data science in every field you want to dive into. And then just by following all the steps, all those programming languages, take them one after the other. By the time you are now very confident in data science, then you can now think of projects, how to apply them, how to mix them up, and then help people in your sector, help people in your field. All right. I think I've been able to make justice to that.
Okay, so the next question is this.
Okay, job opportunities for data scientists in Nigeria. Okay, talking about job opportunities, I'll say it isn't that hard because many people they target us. It is very, very hard to get jobs in Nigeria. They'll be like, it's very, very hard. Even like they'll be like, getting a web development job, like you getting a job as a web developer or a software engineer, is very, very easy compared to you getting a job as a data scientist. But what I'll say is that if you follow the right principles, if you follow the right steps, then getting jobs in Nigeria will be very, very easy for you. Let me just explain how I was able to get my own job as a machine learning engineer. I was part of this organization, She Code Africa, and then I was given a mentor. That was in 2020 when I was learning this thing. I was given a mentor, and then on our blog, we always write articles there. And then for my final project at She Code Africa, I did something related to loan prediction, predicting loan using machine learning. And then I wrote an article on it. Then I published it on my website. When I published it, the CEO at the company I work with presently, the CEO there, he went to my blog because he's a very wide reader. He reads a lot. Then he went to my blog, he checked the article, he read it, then he reached out to me on LinkedIn. He was like, "Hi, Precious Kolawole, this particular thing you wrote about, can you do it while trying out our company's data?" And I was like, "I can do it. What's that I'll not do?" So I was given the data, and then I went on, and he even gave me some factors. It was like, if my model's accuracy is not getting up to 90%, like it won't be getting the data set from me, the model, it won't be getting it from me. Then I worked on the model. I built a model. I worked on the data set they gave me, their company's data set. I worked on it. I built the model for them. And then my model I achieved a 92% accuracy. It's a fintech companies. We give people loans. And then the model is now predicting those that will pay back their loans, that will settle their loans, and those that will default. So all these things are interwoven. If you want to get jobs, just follow the right principles. There are many scientists out there, and they've been into this data science for many years. Some have been into data science, let's say 4, 5 years, and they've still not been able to get jobs. But if you follow the right principles, there are jobs out there that you can get. You can also sign up for LinkedIn job offers. If you sign up for LinkedIn job offers, you can apply for those jobs, drop your CV, and then you can now make your research. Those people that are working in that company, that particular company, let's say you apply for a job at Octave Analytics, go to LinkedIn and check those people that are working at Octave. You can reach out to them, get to know more about the company, even before the interview stage. Get to know more about the company. There are also recruiters, all those HR managers. You can reach out to them on LinkedIn. I'm this also person. I would like you to push my application forward and all. So you applying the right steps, we surely get you a job. I got my first job after a year. So, and with that particular steps I mentioned, from me writing an article to the CEO reaching out to me on LinkedIn to me building a model for them. So just apply the right techniques, and then you will get your job easily without you being part of those still in the labor market. Okay. All right. So the next question.
Yeah, can you quickly answer that? Then I'll pose the last one from my side here.
It's absolutely okay. Precious, from your experience in data science, if you are to relearn data science, what step would you take? Math before coding or coding before math? Amazing. Okay. For this particular question, me myself, I started with Python. I started the whole data science stuff with Python. So it was when I learned Python, when I finished learning Python, I dived into statistics, probability, linear algebra, and calculus. That was when I learned the mathematical concept behind it. And it wasn't a big deal for me when I was learning it. But I was at first, when let's say you are a beginner and you are just getting started with statistics and all, you'll be like, how do I apply statistics in building models? What's the correlation between statistics and me building machine learning models when we have all those existing libraries I just have to call, and then they will do that particular thing I want to do for me? You understand? But I wasn't thinking about that particular factor when I was learning. I was thinking about the future. Let me just put it that way. I learned Python first, then I later learned statistics. And that is what I've been the timeline I've been giving people, because I have people I mentor too. So that's the timeline I've been giving people. You learn Python first, because you getting to learn Python, it will give you a fixed goal. It will give you a fixed, how do I put it? So it will give you a fixed knowledge as to what you are into. With you just starting out with statistics, probability, and all, it will still be vague. You'll be like, are we doing secondary school work here? Am I in my first year in the university? Something like that. So you can start out with Python. After learning Python, you can now learn linear algebra. After linear algebra, you go into probability. You learn calculus before diving into statistics. Is that fine?
Okay. Thank you, Precious, for that wonderful presentation. The answering questions also. And I want to drop the last question.
Okay.
Uh, okay, so which is this? I'll get to answer this because uh, I don't know where you call abroad. Abroad could be in South Africa, it could be in Senegal, because I have students that I teach from Senegal, from Canada, from Germany. So, where I'm in the UK now, and uh, I think I can answer this here. So, I also studied. I have MSc in data science in the university in UK, and I've been responsible for teaching the online interns of data lab from here and exposing them to several things, just to bring them up to the international standard, okay, especially those that are looking to migrate from Nigeria. So yes, there are so many job prospects here for data analysts, data scientists. The one common one also here is business analyst. So which is very, very important. And business analyst has to do with applying the same data science, but this time around, you are not just doing any random projects, but you are applying it to solve business. You are applying it to solve business problems. We have a lot of business here, a lot of companies here, and they're always on the lookout for those that specialize in using data science to solve business problem. Like Precious now, so she works in a financial firm. So that's also like a business firm, and they have a goal. They want to use data science to automate the decisions for those that the grants loan to or not. And you can do a prediction on that to help them to predict those that are at risk of not paying the loan, and those that will eventually pay the loan. And that could save them a lot of stress, a lot of uh, financial crisis, So you may want to consider being a data scientist, but a data scientist solving business problem. So there's so many jobs here for data. Of course, everything is powered by data now. So then we also have remote jobs that you can also get. If you are in Nigeria, you can get to work with companies overseas, but you must have done your own work. You must have a good portfolio, so you must you need to have, like, let's say 2 years experience in this field, okay? So because most of them look for like 2 years upward, so they want to be sure the person working with them remotely is sound and not just a novice. So you need to be aware of that too. Then also, it's also very good for you uh to take trainings, of course, to take trainings. Like I myself, I have MSc in data science, but my MSc in data science is not free. It's not free. So yeah, you have to go to the university and pay the tuition. So it's not free. So if you want to travel overseas to take a further degree in the field of data science, artificial intelligence, then fine, because they use more of it here than in Nigeria. So it's also good. Nigeria is also a good place to start from, because I also started from Nigeria. And if you're also looking to migrate, just as I've said, then that will be fine too. Okay, so one thing you need to also note is that while you can learn these things for free, but it prolongs like your journey in learning these things. Like yesterday now, I want to learn a new skill. Even after having a master's in data science, I'm still learning. I'm still picking on some new tools to learn some additional things too. So I just wish that somebody, of course, I wanted to say, okay, let me go and take online course, but I know online course could be it could really take your time, and you can be on it for 2 years. You can be on it for 2 years, 1 year, and you are still on it. Okay, so I think if you have a mentor, somebody training you, even if it is paid, I think you are paying the person because the person is like fast tracking your learning. Yeah, so you can learn it on your own, but it's going to take you a long time, to grab so many things. Then you will make so many mistakes along the way, trial and error. So the journey becomes longer. But if you can get somebody or a firm to train you, let's say they have gone through all those things. Let's say in 3 months, in 4 months, they are able to shorten your journey, to 3 months, and give you what you need to know. You get to ask questions. You have somebody there to answer you, to guide you through projects. So I think that is good than you being alone, taking online courses, and it's taking years, and nobody to even answer your questions, and you are doing trial and error, and it goes on like that. So just as I said yesterday, I wanted to learn a new skill, but I just feel that I wish I have somebody, because I know for me to learn that thing on my own, it may take me in the next 5 months, to do that. But I don't have 5 months, just to be on a course. So I just wish I have somebody to pay now, and that person that I've really know the tool will just teach me in 2 weeks, and I will know it, because time really matters a lot. So that is it for that. Yes. So then one last thing from me is so like the person that had that maths before coding or coding before maths, I really, for my own side, I think starting data science is not really about whether starting with maths or coding. Yeah, so it's part of it, yes, just as uh, our host, she has said, and so these things are part of it. But I think it's rather to start from understanding the business problem. Yeah, so these things doesn't even get, it doesn't have anything to do with with coding or programming or maths or whatever. Those ones can come later. Okay, in fact, I will say they are the last thing, but I think the most important thing for you to do is to first understand the business problem, because this data science that we are saying, it's not just you writing codes. No, no, you need to use it to solve a business problem. How managers, business owners, they are interested not in your algorithms, not in your code, not in your Jupyter notebook. They don't care about all that, as long as what they care about is that they want to see your solution solving a practical business problem for the company. If your solution is not doing that, then then they don't value your codes or whatever, So the first thing is to understand the business problem, and you are setting out to solve a particular business problem. So that is very, very important. Okay, so like in data lab now, like next week now, we have a course coming up, and I'm teaching them how to write a blueprint. First, brainstorming on a particular a business problem we want to solve. We don't have anything to do with coding for now, but we just want to build a blueprint. Plan our ways. These are the problems we want to solve. These are the metrics that we are going to use in measuring how successful we are on it. And so many things are involved in starting a data science project. So the first thing is to understand the business problem, not even coding at all, okay? Because if you understand the business problem, then you'll be able to now select the tools that will help you in solving that business problem, okay? So that is it from my side here. Yeah. So why I'm talking, I think Oluwatoyin Ademarat, I think she came in. Glad to have you, Oluwatoyin. She's also an expert in this field, and she's international. Yeah. Okay. One
Thank you
say
so
I, yeah,
much.
I will see your face. Yeah.
Can you see me? I don't know if you can see
Yeah.
me.
Good. Good. So
Thank
I
you.
hope
Well
I
done.
hope that I hope we have you also talk like Precious one day.
Sure.
I
I
will,
will
I
make
will
up
really reach out to
time.
you. I will reach out to you again. Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. You have a word for our participants. Yeah.
Wow. I actually just joined to, find out what's going on and just, catch up. I'm sorry I came late. I'm really sorry. Oh, someone actually have a message for you though.
Okay. Okay. No problem. We address that. Thank you. Yes.
All right.
Over to you, Oluwatoyin.
What am I
Just
supposed
say
to say?
something. Yeah. Just these are okay. These people, they are aspiring data scientists. So you are a practicing data scientist. You have so many experience in this field. So what can you just one word that you can say or two words that you can say to aspiring data scientists? Yes, just for them to know the reality of things. Yeah,
Yeah.
because so many people want to learn data science, but truly they don't know the reality of things in that field. So you see many people they enroll for a course before they finish, they just see themselves that they are not a good fit for this field. So can you say something along that line? Because we
Uh,
really don't want people to waste their money. If data science is not for you, then you need to know. So you will go into some other fields. We have some other fields, not only data science, some product management, some other interesting fields also So let's hear from you.
okay. Okay. Hello, everyone. It's nice to catch up with everyone here. All right. I would say that to excel in a data science field, which also has some sort of machine learning. Apart from, I'm sure like Precious and Olayemi have done a good job to help give insights, more details. But from what I've seen in the industry and from my own experience, you should be someone who is very curious. You should be someone who has a curiosity mind, because so that is one step to actually know if it is for you. If you are not someone who does not like to ask questions, if you're just the let's say at this level, you're not curious about things, you're not asking questions, you whatever they give you, you just take it. You don't make conscious efforts to find details of things, then if you're not that kind, that is actually the big step, because you can know the coding very brilliant, you can know the maths very brilliant, you can know the statistics very brilliant. It's like I think the illustration that I used to give some of my students, because I do like private coaching for some professionals, and what I used to tell them is that I can teach you, it's like when you have a car and I tell you this is the steering wheel, this is this is the brake, this is the accelerator, this is how you wind down the glass, and that is how the maths, the code, and everything is about. But when how you put those things together to actually drive the car is where you're trying to be curious. That is when you're combining the maths, the code, the statistics, and everything to actually drive questions. So if you know those tools, but you're not curious, you don't know how to combine them, you don't know how to ask questions, then I'm sorry to say that that part is not for you. And you must also be someone who don't give up easily, because I do research. So I do more of my research is in deep learning and robotics. And I've seen that it's not the reason why I am kind of still being in the field is not because it's high paying, because research is actually I would say that research does not pay much as the industry. Is that I get bored easily. Let me just put it that way. I get bored easily. I actually moved from software engineering to machine learning. So I have been like a software engineer for about a few years before I then went into data science, ML, and everything like that. So I got bored with software engineering because I saw it as we are not curious, we are not making research, we are not. So if you don't have that ability to ask questions, to be curious about things, to know how to torture data, if I'll put it that way, how to, yeah, I always use that word, you torture the data such that if you confess, if it confess to you, so if you don't have those skills to be inquisitive about things, I would say that data science, because I feel like anybody can learn coding, to be honest, anybody can learn mathematics and those things, but where you really shine is how you are able to draw inferences, how you are able to draw conclusions from data, to make decisions from data, because that's what you'll be doing when you join any company. Like, they're not just going to employ you to be there. You can be building models, but you can't build models when you have not understood your data, when you are not curious about your data or inquisitive. You can't, you don't, like, I'm working on a project, for example, and there's something called balanced data set and imbalanced data set. And once I saw that, oh, I'm dealing with a balanced data set, I already know the metrics that was going to fit it. If I'm dealing with an imbalanced data set, I should know the metrics that should fit it, right? Because different metrics work for different kind of data sets. So that is where you shine, where you're able to think two steps ahead and understand, and also make future inferences, not just current, from the current data, make future inferences. So you must be curious, you must be you must not be someone who is complacent. Like, you must always be proactive to find out where everybody is saying, okay, this is the maximum we can get from this data. You are actually driving to get even more details from that data. And I'll also say that when it comes to programming, it could feel hard. But I used to tell people that if me, I can learn how to code, and I'm at this level where I'm actually even doing stuff in robotics, then anybody can do it. So I don't want anybody here. I used to feel like coding belongs to the Albert Einstein and the very smart genius. Their IQ is to 500 over 150 or whatever. I used to feel that way because I wouldn't call myself the A student growing up in classes. Those people that they are in front of the class, they wear thick glasses. It's just recent I started wearing glasses anyway. They wear thick glasses and they they are just the smart people. I don't belong. I am always like almost close to the bottom, if I'll put it that way. But a long time I saw that hard work can actually play a big role in getting you there. So don't feel like, oh, this thing is hard, or because you would get into it and it may feel like this thing is actually very hard. It doesn't look simple. Trust me, people that are there is not because they are. I'm not saying we are not smart. Please don't get me wrong. Of course, we are smart people, but there are times that you actually walk your way to being smart. It's not that you just woke up and you're smart. Intelligence can actually be built. So be willing to stretch yourself. Be willing to do extra work beyond the class. I know data labs have classes, right? Am I right? That
Yeah,
you offer. So
yeah,
be willing to do more beyond the class. Don't just go to the class and after that you're done. That is not what a good student would do. You go online, you go to check resources, check other people's work, and then you challenge yourself to be better. I think I've said a lot, but I hope I've been
yeah.
able to cover
Yeah,
some
yeah,
things.
yeah. We would, just as I said, we would love to have you another day, especially
Sure.
to talk about robotics or for for those that interested in that
All
field.
right.
Yeah. Are you in us from UK or US now?
No, I'm in the UK.
Okay, you're in the UK. Okay, good. All
Yes.
right. So welcome everyone. So I
Thank
think
you.
you can check the chat box there. You will see a link. So you need to click on that link, then you register so we can have your details. Then we are going to forward e-certificates to you for attending this webinar. Okay, so I think that is good. So I hope we've all enjoyed this webinar, and thanks to Data Lab staff also right here in the webinar. Also, I saw Philip the other time. I saw Gideon the other time. Gideon, do you want to say hi to people? Yeah, Gideon. Okay, okay. So
Thank you. Thank you,
okay.
sir. Okay, hi guys. How you doing? Yeah, and thank you for joining in the webinar. And Precious has said a lot, and the last lady who spoke to us said a lot. She has said a lot. Yeah, I will just say one thing. If you want to go into data science, you need to put one or two things together, juggle one or two things together, and decide if it is data science you really want to do. Because I've interacted with many persons who, in the middle of the way, dropped out. So you don't want to be a dropped out with in something you're going to give your time to and probably give your money to. Actually, data science is like the what is widely known now, but it isn't for everybody. You need to get that. It isn't for everybody. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Gideon. So, Gideon is in Abuja, where he has been training our in-class students. Okay, so I think we can call it a day here. So, if you want to get across to us, you can check our website www.datalab.com.ng. Then you also see the email and the contact details there. So, once again, remember to click the link in the chat box that you can fill the form. Then you get an ACE certificate within next week. Yeah. So thank you, Precious. Thank you, Oluwatoyin. Thank you for coming around. We hope that we're going to have you again at another time again. For all of you joining us, most people from Lagos, they are joining us from Lagos. So I wish you all the best in this field. And it's an interesting field, is a rewarding field, is a field with huge prospects, and it's not going away anytime soon, because everything we are doing now is data driven. Okay, so it's a field that you can invest in. You can invest in it and be rest assured of a rewarding career. So thank you once again. Thank you everyone, and we can say bye from now. Okay, so see you again in another webinar again. You always get the invite. Yeah, so thank you so much, and bye from here.
Thank you.
Bye
Bye.
bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye
Thank
bye,
you, sir.
Precious.
Bye.
Bye bye, Tony.
Bye bye, everyone.
Yeah, bye bye, Philip.
Hello, sir. Hello, sir. Mr. M.
Yes,
Mr. M.
yes, I can hear you.
Hi, Mr. M.
Okay.